Okay, let's talk about ACR accreditation. And first thing we should do is go to the ACR accreditation webpage. So I'll click on the link and we'll come here to the ACR accreditation. So all of your modalities have to be accredited by the ACR. And so you can watch this little video about why it's the gold standard, and here are the modalities, right? So each one of these has a different process, a different phantom, a different set of rules, and once I start opening these, I think you'll be sort of overwhelmed at all of the detail and level that goes into this. And there's actually 9 modalities. If you look down here, it says 9 modalities. They don't put a box up here for X-ray. I think they feel that everybody already knows the X-ray process and it's pretty straightforward, so they don't need to explain it. So I believe there's an assignment this week that you need to come here and look at one of these 8 modalities and dig into it and get some details. So let's just look into one and see what we find. So let's get the details for a CT accreditation. Now most of this work, I'm going to click to the full accreditation. You have these different sections. Most of this work will be done by the technologists. Okay? So the CT supervisor will do most of the accreditation work. They'll gather the images and prepare everything. The radiologist will look at the images and make sure those images are good enough. They're a good example of the work that the CT department does. But it falls to us to transmit them. We're the ones who are going to actually send them off to the ACR, and that's why we need to know more about the process than you might think you need to know, because our name is going on it. So I'll explain further. Let's just look at the general overview, right? So these are all these things, and we'll come down here to this last, browser compatibility and system requirements. Anything that involves something like IT, the technologist is going to go, well, I'm going to go ask the PACS admin. So you just click here and it says, you know, the systems use Google Chrome, this version, Firefox, this version, Safari, Internet Explorer, this. You need a PC with these requirements. If you use a Mac, it has to be this. So that's something that the technologist isn't going to know, but you will need to know. Let's go back to submitting. This is where it gets really fun, right? So these are all the rules, and I just want to come down here and talk about image submission with the ACR web client or the Windows client. So you'll have to make this choice, and so you might choose to use the web client. Okay, so the web client works with these browsers, and it doesn't work well with DICOM images. Okay, and that's why this is in bold, right? So a lot of the times you will end up submitting images as JPEGs or bitmaps, and that's lower quality, it's a lower level of compression, and you may not get the best result using the web client. I honestly wouldn't use the web client. My preference is to use the Triad client. The Triad client you can set up to be a direct DICOM transfer, right? So this right here is important. It allows users to directly retrieve images from PACS for upload. So you can do a direct DICOM connection to the ACR system and submit direct DICOM direct files. So that's where we get involved. We're not going to be collecting the images. We're not going to be telling people what phantoms they need to use, right? But we get involved in storing the images, right? The images they're collecting, and it may take, you know, days or weeks for them to collect the images they want to send. That's in our PACS system. We'll help with that. And transmitting them from our facility to the ACR is something we'll do, which means our name goes on the package, and if I'm putting my name on it, I want to make sure it's done right. So let's go back to, I just want to look at the memo really quickly for 1 second. Time requirements. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the time requirements. So this is important. you have 45 days to get when you're up for renewal, you have 45 days to get your package together and sent off to the ACR. And if you don't meet that 45-day window, that's why this is bold, you may not legally perform mammography if your FDA certificate expires. So mammography is a weird modality. It falls under not only the ACR, but because it involves breast milk, the Food and Drug Administration is also involved. So you get a certificate from both the ACR and the FDA. And if you don't complete your ACR renewal process in that 45-day window, the FDA certificate will get pulled. And if you don't have the FDA certificate, you cannot legally perform mammography. And so again, the mammo technologists should know this and they should stay on top of it. But you don't want them coming to you on day 44 going, hey, we got all this together and we've got 1 day to get it transmitted, and now you've got to set up that connection to the ACR in 1 day, right? Don't let poor planning on their part constitute an emergency on your part. So just be aware of these things, and that way you have time to get your part of the work done so that you get these things submitted. And so that's just a quick overview of the accreditation page. And again, you'll come here and you'll look up one of those 8 blocks and use that to complete your discussion post this week. Thank you for watching.